All right, guys, welcome back to the shack. Tonight, I'm going to show you how I made this easy little dry erase calendar for the refrigerator in like 10 or 15 minutes. Had this thing built. This is the material. I know you've heard me and Steve mention it on Sunday nights and the Sunday Night Live. TruFlat, one of the partners that we've kind of partnered with for some materials, because you guys are always asking us about easy materials that are, you can be acquired and can be used with lasers, that are easy, fun, and somewhat affordable to make projects with. And this is one of the best ones I've found so far. So this is our new materials, the version 2 white or white 2.0, whichever, and it has this really slick coating on it that allows it to be used as a dry erase board. So I was like, you know what, it's hard to keep up with things in the house sometimes. The calendar that we have is a paper calendar that we get from local businesses here in town, but I'm like, I'm just gonna make my own little cool one. It's complete with a calendar and an area for like notes and special little things that you want to pass on. So there we have it. And this is the material that we started with. Both sides are the same coating, and it's 3mm MDF core material, and it cuts great with the xTool P2 that we're going to be using tonight. So stick around and I'll show you how we come up with the project. All right, so before we jump into the computer and get to the nuts and bolts of this thing, I do want to tell you, this is the new flyer that came with the 2.0. According to TruFlat, it is definitely glossier, but easier cleanup, and it sublimates brighter. I didn't even know you could sublimate on this stuff, but apparently you can. So you guys that do sublimation, there you go. They also have some other colors in there it's kind of a white, but it's a primered material. So if you haven't already went and checked their site out, I'll drop a link down below where you can go check out their website. But they have all kinds of different materials, and they have distributors all over the place. So let's get over to the computer and I'll show you how I come up with the design and how we move forward to making it come true. So let's get started. All right, guys, so to get this project started off, I want to do a little research and kind of figure out exactly how I want this to be laid out. So we're going to go over to Google and just search for images of what I have in mind and use that to kind of figure out what we want to do. So let's drop down to the computer and look at it. So here on Google, I just basically went in and said, dry erase calendar for fridge. And you get a lot of different options. You can see some of them, like these are some Amazon available ones that you can purchase. It's basically just piece of dry erase with the dates, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I mean, very simple. I don't want to get too extravagant with it. I want to keep it fairly simple. As you can see, you can even do this with, say, acrylics if you get the correct pens and stuff, which right now I've got a couple of dry erase pens out here, or pencils, or whatever you want to call them, markers, but we're going to get some more for this one once I get it completed. The acrylic would actually be a pretty cool idea for this approach also. I do plan on doing this on a CO2 machine, so we could technically do it either way. But I'm going to use, for the purpose of tonight's project, we're going to use this material from TruFlat that's, I've just found out is also dry erase compatible. So yeah, that's the general idea, is just, you got to have enough rows to where you can lay this out and pencil in the days of the month. And it seems that to make sure you can handle whatever month it is, most of the ones I'm seeing have, of course, 7 days, but anywhere from 5 to 6 rows here. And there are a couple of months that require 6 rows. So just to be on the safe side, we're going to do kind of like what this one here is and have, I guess this one's got 6, 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, it's got 5 with the little slashes. But we're going to go ahead and go the full 6 on our design just to be sure. If you look, like this Amazon one here that we found a picture of on the refrigerator, this one's got 6 also. So we're just going to lay it out and try to make it look like this. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to design that in LightBurn, and then we're going to ship it over to XCS to get it into the machine. So let's get started. All right, by way of the magic time machine, guys, I want to show you what I ended up coming up with, and then I'll kind of give you a few show you a few of the ways that I came up with this thing. It's fairly simple, and you can download images and trace them or whatever, but I built this one from scratch. And as you can see, it's got the 6 column rows and 7 columns, and it works for whatever calendar there may be. Because some of the calendars, like you said, you're gonna start on them in the middle of the week here and end in the middle of the week here, and it. So just to be sure, I went ahead and did this one with 6 instead of the 5, because I didn't want to have to do the half boxes down here. That just seemed a little too much trouble. So I want to move this to the side and just kind of show you how I came up with this, because there was a technique that I used to come up with it. And you can do this. I've got this set to do an engrave. I made these lines wider. You could, for the sake of time, if you wanted to, make these lines thinner, and you could, you could just make it like a score. I wanted them to be very visible, and I didn't. And like if I did decide to do this on acrylic, I also wanted it to be very visible on acrylic. All right, so to start this little build right here off, what I did basically made myself a little rectangle like this. I'm going to use a line for designing this. Just makes it a little quicker. Then I'm going to need another little rectangle to come in up here at the top to write the date in. What I want is I want these to be kind of thick. You could do it like this and just do a score, but that's going to be really, really thin and hard to see on some of this material, and you're going to make several offset passes. So I wanted it to be an engrave. I wanted it to be like this, maybe like 1 millimeter or so wide. So the way I went about that is, before you do anything with this stuff here, just take and select that and select everything. Use the offset tool over here. If you want this line thickness right here to be 1 millimeter, then you would just do the offset both directions, rounded. You're going to want to delete originating shapes or whatever, and put it at 0.50. That's going to give you roughly a 1 millimeter thick line. If you want it thinner, you can do 0.25. You could even, if you wanted it 2 millimeters thick, you could do 1 millimeter. And that's going to make the line thicker. So I'm going to go with a 0.5 and just hit OK. So now I'm going to change that over to an engrave, and look at that. So now we have this actual engraved shape. It's going to be a little thicker, easier to see on the material. So what I did once I got this shape constructed is just set that in the work area here, and we're going to run the offset, the grid array tool here. And what I wanted to do was I wanted these things to intersect, but I wanted to retain that roughly 1 millimeter thick line right here. So what I did is I set them padding between the edges on both of them, and I did a -5. Oh, wrong. I did a -0.5, guys. 0.5. So it's going to give me a little more bold on the line, but it's at the same time we're gonna be joining 2 of these things. They're 1 millimeter each wide. So when we overlap them a 0.5 millimeter, it's gonna glue them together, and you'll see the magic happen here in just a second. So I've got both of these set to -0.5 millimeters to cause them to offset. Let me zoom this in where you can see it a little better when I do it. So here we go. So I've got it set up for -0.5. I'm going to go ahead and do 7 this way. And then I'm going to need to do 6 up, as we discussed. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now, you'll notice, because these are fields, now I have this little line right here. That's that little 0.5 millimeter overlap. So what you're going to want to do before you proceed is select all of these guys. Wait a minute here. Let me ungroup that. There we go. Once I get it ungrouped, you'll see that I've got everything selected. I'm going to come over here to the booleans, and I'm going to just hit this little button right here to weld everything together. And what that's going to do is that's going to do away with that line that was created by that overlap and make everything a solid structure around the edges of these little boxes. So now I have that shape, and you can scale this thing and stretch it whatever you want to do. If you want to, however you want to do it, you can do so. But that's basically how I came up with this calendar layout, if you want to make your own. So And then other than that, you just need to know how big you want to make it. Of course, the text, no brainer. But that was the hardest part, was figuring out how to do this without a lot of work. And that was the easiest way I could come up with, was just doing the line work, using an offset to create an engravable area, setting it to an engrave, and then using the array tool and welding everything together, and voila. And it turned out good. You saw the finished product before we got started, and so that's what it ended up with. I just laid my line, made up my mind how big I wanted it to fit the refrigerator. I did put a little bit of a rounding corners on here, just the radius edges, just to give it a little more clean look, and then went forward with it. So once I created it in LightBurn, as we all know, all you got to do is go over here to File and hit Export, and you can export as a SVG file from LightBurn, and then bring that thing right on in to XCS. And so when you get in XCS, here's my material inside the xTool P2, which I've gotten back in line, got it up here working again. I'm going to import the image. I'm going to go over here to where I exported that dry erase file. User defined. This is the TruFlat white 3mm. Now this is the settings I got. I actually got those settings with the older material, not this white version 2, which is the dry erase. But I'm happy to report that the settings, because the core material is the same, it's just a slight difference in the coating on the outside. The settings work perfect. So my cut is going to be 100% power, 15mm a second, one pass. I get clean drops. Not a lot of soot, just an all-around good engrave. For the engrave, I've also, like I said, I've ran my power and speed test. I've got my settings in here. I'm running 100% power at 500 millimeters per second. The lines per centimeter is 100. So there's the settings that I'm running on this stuff, and it cuts like butter. And so far, every color with the CO2 machine, it's a little different with the diodes, because white is going to reflect more of the light. But so far with the CO2 machine, once you get the settings for one color of this 3mm material, because the core material is the same, it's just that very thin layer on the outside that's different, the settings have been across the board so far ideal. So even though I did put TruFlat white in there, that was when I was doing my testing, I think it's safe to say that I can just put TruFlat 3mm in there and run it with no problems. So there you have it, guys. Easy, simple project. Hopefully the video didn't take too long, and we'll jump out here and wrap this thing up. All right, guys, so there you have it. Simple, easy. The one thing that you will need, other than the TruFlat material, of course, is the magnets. And I overkilled it. There's nothing I can't stand more than putting something on the refrigerator and it just sitting there slowly sliding. So I had a little bit of a roll of magnetic tape left, and I put it to it. So this one does not slide. I've already tested it. So if you haven't found out already, guys, I've started a new playlist on my channel. It's my LightBurn playlist, and so far, I think I've got 3 or 4 videos in there that I've knocked out really fast. But things like what I've did in this video tonight, I'm gonna try to cover those things, but it's gonna be more like a glossary for LightBurn stuff. So if there's something specific that you want to do, you can go in there and look at that playlist. I'm going to try to keep the titles, instead of having some clickbaity title for you, it's going to be to the point of what is in this video. What are we going to show you in the video? And that's the title. So it's not going to be, you won't believe this, and then you get in there and you won't believe it. But it's going to be, say, you know, importing fonts, which I think I've already got that video. I just need to move it over. It's going to be very specific. So when you read the title, what the title says is what's going to be in the video. I'm trying to keep those guys 20 minutes or less if possible. So far I've been reasonably effective at that. So I'm trying to pass on some of the things that I've learned. Like I said, I am no way an expert or guru with LightBurn. I've learned how to make stuff. I've gotten pretty proficient with it, and I'm going to share with you what I've learned. So go check out that playlist. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to the channel if you haven't already. And if you hadn't, go check out my buddy Steve's channel. He also has lots of stuff with LightBurn. He probably has even more with XCS if you're in the xTool ecosystem than I do. Nothing against XCS. I am just so comfortable in LightBurn that I use XCS simply for deployment. So it's kind of like I'm using a CAD and CAM software more or less. You know, I use LightBurn as my CAD and XCS as my CAM. It works, but I do some basic stuff in XCS. It just slows me down when I do, and I'm lazy and do not want to take time to learn XCS. But for LightBurn stuff, I got you covered. But until then, be sure also Sunday nights, 7 o'clock p.m. We've been doing it for almost over 2 years now. 120 episodes. Our Sunday Night Live show, we answer questions, we just shoot the breeze, we talk about the latest and greatest machines, discuss business things that you need to know about running your business, your laser business, getting this started, you know, expanding, keeping your shop organized, all those things we talk about on Sunday nights. So hopefully, between Steve and I, we can help you with whatever you need for your laser, CNC, 3D printing, business, whatever you got going on. Just stop by and hang out with us. Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Central. And until then, guys, be safe. Have a good day.